The Friday Agenda.
Oh, just have the volcano bubbling away if we can in the background, Johnny. We got some sort of sound
He's
effect.
the volcano what he wants
There
to
we
be.
go.
Kane Cornes.
There we go. That was Johnny himself. So if you're wondering the voice of the man that is making the ship sail, that was. Can we have another go at that, Johnny,
Yeah.
just so they get to know you?
He's happy to play himself again, don't worry.
He's the volcano what he wants to be. Kane Cornes.
Well, I've heard you speak about staging and increasing the penalty for staging, and I don't think many people would disagree with that. If you pay a free kick that is going to result in a goal, you'd want to make sure it's a free kick, and you would err on the side of caution if you're not sure. So if Burton and Gibcus are wrestling in a pretty legitimate marking contest in the last quarter, and you know if you pay a free kick that is not clearly a free kick, it's going to result in a goal, don't blow your whistle. I just think the penalty for some of the free kicks and 50-metre penalties that we are paying is so significant. In a game that's won by 12 points last night, and Richmond kicked 3 goals from free kicks, 2 to Clark, 1 from a high tackle that once again, if it was last week and it's Ginnivan, you're not paying it. And then the 10-metre protected 50-metre penalty against Farrell in the first quarter. Just, if it's going to result in a free kick, Kingy, err on the side of caution. Sorry, in a goal, err on the side of caution. Is that? And the umpires would say, no, free kick's a free kick. You got to pay what's there. You want to be pretty clear it's a free kick if it's going to result in a goal, because there was 2 or 3 last night that weren't free kicks that resulted in goals.
It just appears to me, and this just might be my eyes telling lies. It appears like we've lowered the threshold for what's a free kick. I almost expect the whistle to go now.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time there's a marking contest, I expect the whistle to blow. And that's a horrible spot to be in.
So do you think we've lowered the threshold on what is a free kick?
So the umpires are now judged, well, they've always been judged on what they don't pay. So that is wrong. Yeah,
No, well, they get in trouble for missing free kicks
Correct.
as much as they do paying the incorrect ones.
Yeah, so that is wrong. If you don't pay the Burton Gibcus scuffle in the goal square, no one cares. No one is mentioning it today. If you don't pay Kane Farrell, who might have been 9.8 metres inside the protected area but had no bearing on the player handballing inside, it was not slowing, stopping anything, and that's a 50 and a goal. No one's talking about it. No one cares. So if you're an umpire, if you're the AFL, and it's not the umpires actually, it's the AFL and it's the lawmakers, if you are instructing them to pay a free kick that's going to result in a goal, be that a 50 or a free kick, you'd want to make sure it's right and accurate, because there was 3 last night that I questioned and 3 goals resulted in it, and Richmond win by 12 points.
Lift the threshold.
Lift it. Lift it.
Is my thoughts. And do you agree? Do you
Because they
think
do
it's been lowered?
Well, they do it in grand finals. You watch it. So if there's 50 free kicks paid in the home and away season, they'll pay 30 in the grand final. If Sam Walsh goes to give a handball in the dying stages of that Collingwood game and an arm brushes across his shoulder, because the game's on the line in the last minute, they hide the threshold there, and that's not a free kick. So I don't know. I think we're in a really interesting spot with the umpiring, which seems to change interpretation week to week. Whilst we're on that, Brad Scott.
I found it staggering this week that the AFL, Brad obviously, can talk directly to the umpires about the arms out descent 50-metre rule and wind that back without telling the fans, who are the number one stakeholder in this game, and the players, who if they're not the most important people of a weekend, I'm not sure who is. I can't believe that they've done that via stealth. Why wouldn't they come out and just say, we've got this wrong, we've gone too far, we said at the time that arms out was nonsense, that that's dissent, and that should be a 50-metre penalty, but instead of saying, no, we got it wrong, we just sneak around in the back box. Hey, listen, let's not pay a 50 for that, guys. Let's just wind it back a bit. Don't tell anyone, though. Don't tell anyone. Because I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. I don't admit that I've been in the job for 10 weeks and we've got this situation. This is not good enough. They needed to come out the AFL and tell the football world what is going on with their game. It's not the AFL's game, it's the fans' game.
And now we're even more confused, because Charlie Dixon looked like he was ready to destroy an umpire last night. he and they don't. So now they didn't. And then Bolton got caught holding the ball from Pau Pepper, and he was sort of doing this action to the umpire, like got me high, and that would automatically have been a 50 2 weeks ago. Now it's not, and I'm left to be more confused than I was when this first started being spoken about.
But just tell us.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, just let us in. It's not a big secret, is it? Can't we just be honest enough and mature enough to say, hey, we've gone too far with this. We're scaling it back a fraction. Big song and dance when things are gone well. Have the same standards when things have gone poorly.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear more from Dan Richardson as well, who I don't think
Haven't heard from all year.
has spoken all year, to be
Nah.
to be fair. So I'd love to hear from him and to explain some of the content. I'd love them to hold a press conference on Monday. I think they used to do this, didn't they? And answer some of the more controversial ones. We understand there's mistakes going to be made, but Ray Chamberlain's segment with Jared is some of the best radio that you can hear for a footy fan, because you get an insight and you learn as you're listening to him speak. And it was probably him that actually released the fact that they've relaxed dissent, wasn't it? It was left to Razor Ray.
Yeah, this is my point. We have to find out through some sort of backdoor measure. We've never seen more umpiring decisions from out of zone. Like, I just don't know what's happening. I sort of feel like I've lost our way a little bit there.
Big Dave.
And this is, people say you hate Brad Scott. It's not a Brad Scott issue. He's in this role. Come and tell us what's going on.
So separate whatever personal is. Should the person that's running the football department of the AFL speak more? Would you like to hear more from them? Is the question. Forget the person that it is. It's the role. Big night.
It's a drastic change, though, isn't it? Look, that's a drastic change in our game. Surely we should know about drastic changes.
Dixon twice last night. I mean, whether it was clearly it was dissent, and clearly it's not been paid. And Bolton was the same, so that's changed. Big night for the Bombers, Kingy. Zach Merritt and Darcy Parish have been quite vocal media-wise this week, and Zach Merritt actually wrote a column in the Herald Sun that went online yesterday. Just this part, I just wanted to ask you about this. In his column, he said, early on in the season, we went away from our pressure, which was our core fundamental from last year, and it's something we're trying to get consistently back as it was our hallmark of 2021. Why would they have... That couldn't have been strategic, could it? That just must have been players getting comfortable with themselves, really, and happy with what they'd achieved. That could be the only reason.
Yeah, you know what makes me laugh about when I hear the Essendon players speak is they speak like the problems they're talking about are not their own personal problems. It's the group. The midfield at Essendon refuse to engage in the game when they don't have possession. They just refuse. And then when they come out and speak, oh yeah, we've got to get our pressure right. But it's you, mate. It is you. It is Merritt, Shield, Parish. It is those guys.
McGrath, yeah.
McGrath. Like, I mean, what do they take us for fools? We can see it. The game highlights their flaws. The AFL standard is well past where they are. So I think they lose the keys to the midfield, these guys. I want to see Hobbs and Perkins in there. Tonight I want to see first bounce. Don't give me, and we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, don't give me Merritt, Parish, Shield.
That's what you're going to get.
Because it's failed.
I'm to the point where, and they've done a lot of media, so look, it's a big night for them, I understand that. But I'm to the point where if Darcy Parish speaks, I don't really engage in what he's saying, because they've done more talking as a football club than any club this year. And Parish was sort of asked about as well, I think it might have been on Channel 7, about criticism of his own game. He said, look, I don't really listen to the average Joes, or something of words to that effect. I was like, well, you might need to be. Like, you're getting a lot of it, but defensively, to your point, you're not really engaged. So, no more talk from the Bombers, a bit more action at 2 and 9.
This is a massive round of footy. Massive round of footy. I'm looking for who could be the biggest winners or biggest losers this week. Now, Melbourne just need to find a way to win on Monday.
Badly.
It is a huge day for them. And they've got Collingwood, who are playing some pretty serious footy at the moment that'll challenge them. What about St Kilda and Brisbane? I mean, Brisbane is sort of sneaking under the radar in terms of critical analysis as well. And I know they've had a pretty good start to the season. They sit second on the table. But St Kilda, they're no easy beats at the moment. They're flying the Saints. They're playing some really good footy, and they've got the exact weaponry that hurts Brisbane. Down back there, all at sea at the moment. Yeah. Max King, he could have a day out this week, or a Membry type could have a day out.
And from stoppage, they've been poor as well. So St Kilda's worked with the two ruckmen that they've got. Joe Danaher is back in, and Mitch Robinson I like, just feels like a bit of a barometer for them. And a couple of smalls back for the Saints. Dan Butler and Jack Higgins is back in. So who's it a big weekend for? 1300 736 736.
What if the Blues get rolled tonight? I can see a way Essendon can win. This is probably their best lineup for the year tonight. This is probably their best team for the year.
Yeah, I can see a way that they could get rolled. I wouldn't tip that to happen, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I tipped the Bombers.
If that,
I tipped
you
them
did.
tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're brave. Let's see how they go.